What is up, guys? Fellow here, and I just kind of thought about, like, the type of people you shouldn't take advice from or listen to, and this might be kind of like a short, like, explanation, just because, like, it's kind of like a story that's not super long in a way, but I don't know, but I kind of, like, wanted to go over it because I feel like a lot of the times people will say things, and they'll think they know what they're saying, and then turns out like they don't know what shit they're saying. And I'm like, hey, I mean, you could say that about anyone. I mean, you could go on my videos and then think that I don't know anything about what I'm saying, but that's your opinion. But what I mean is genuine experience about something and someone telling you. So I used to work with a guy that was like pushing 30. I'm saying, like, he was like 20. I think he's like 30 now or something, or close to being 30. I think he might be 28. Doesn't matter, but he's an adult, and I was like really young. I think I was still a teenager and shit. And this guy was like, he's a virgin, and there's nothing wrong with being a virgin when you're an adult. Well, maybe, but that's for another time. But you know, you don't listen to someone that's a virgin's advice, okay? Like, when it comes to relationships, that's a no-brainer. But this guy dated a girl, I think, for 8 months, and they didn't do shit. And when I mean they didn't do shit, they didn't do anything, like, connection wise, and you know what I mean? Like, there was no intimacy. And if you're dating someone for 8 months and that shit don't go like right, then what happens? Well, she cheated on him, and that's kind of like the scenario he was in. And ever since then, I don't think he's dated anyone. So what I'm saying is, this guy here, I had a friend, okay, and he's the same age as me, and he has self-esteem issues. You know, he thinks really down on himself, and he thinks he can't get anyone. And he's also a virgin, but he's a young teen, like, he's my age. So we're, to him, it's like he started going to the gym, whatever, but he just lacks confidence in himself. And this guy was trying to give him advice, like, oh man, like, you should just go up and talk to them. And he's not wrong, but if you know this about someone that's saying advice to someone that's like that, man, I wouldn't even listen to a word they're saying, because one, nothing in the past they've done has worked, and two, they don't know shit. They don't know jack shit, okay? So I'm going to talk about, like, slightly this topic, but it's a book. I'm not going to talk about the book just now because I want to keep that at a later time, but it was basically a book, a self-help book about how to talk to women. That's basically what it was. And I read it, and me not knowing anything, like, it kind of helped me understand, like, some stuff. And it's not for everyone. You don't need to read a book to learn, okay? Like it's funny. It can be seen as dumb, but I wanted to learn something. I want to learn stuff. And one of my other coworkers, or actually my mentor at the time, told me, you read this. And I can't thank him enough, I'm glad I read that book, if I'm being honest. But what I'm saying is, he tried to get that guy to read it too, and this guy was super denial, super, like, pushing it away and defensive, and he was like getting pissed because, like, bro, I don't need that shit. The minute that guy said, I don't need that shit, that means he needs it, okay? That is fucking haunting him, all right? And because he didn't want to read a book to help him, he thinks that he doesn't need it, and then now he thinks he can give advice to others, being like, hey guys, you guys don't need to read a book, okay? Because the book isn't going to give you the answers you need. You need to do this. And he was telling that to my friend, and they were having a one-on-one gym session together. And my friend, not knowing anything, comes to me and says, bro, he told me all this stuff, okay? He told me, like, you just got to go up. You just got to have confidence. You just got to have this, that. You just want to hold yourself properly. And I just kind of, like, it didn't sit well with me, because this guy has no game. He doesn't go out and do that. So why is he telling me this? And that's kind of what my point is like, you shouldn't listen to people that have no game and no experience and tell you, how to actually do it, because they know nothing. And me being like a 16, 17-year-old, when I gave relationship advice in front of this person and taking this guy's like mid-20s at that point, he was like, bro, you know nothing, okay? He was brushing me off, thinking I'm dumb because I'm like a immature teenager that's like super loud and that's like goofy as hell. Like, nah, like, maybe listen to me, the adult. But the adult doesn't know anything. And just because of your age and the way you sound and the way you hold yourself, that doesn't mean anything. You might look like Prince Charming, but in reality, you're not. You just set yourself up to be like that. And that's the issue with a lot of people, is that they take advice from people that don't know shit. And you want to make sure when you talk to someone that they've been through something that you're looking for, or that you're trying to find and you're trying to talk about, because I can't stress enough that you won't get the right information. Even though it sounds really good what they're saying, it's not going to be the information that's going to be handed to you properly. And that is something that, like I said before, my friend was being told, and he was like, bro, what are you saying? And he's like, I should have told him, like, that it makes no sense. And he even, like, with no experience, didn't even agree with any of the shit he was saying, because he knew it made no sense. And so you shouldn't judge someone based off their appearance and how they sound like and what they look, because of the experience they got. If they have the experience and you're looking for that similar experience of, like, oh, like, I want you to talk to me about this, I want to learn, I would highly recommend you to ask them, other than the guy that's like 6'2", deep ass fucking voice, goes to the gym and has never once talked to a girl before. I'd tell you to, I wouldn't even recommend that. And, a lot of people, like, think because of the way, judge based off the way they look and sound, that, you have no knowledge and you're dumb as hell. And that's the thing. And that's what I wanted to talk about, because, like, even the older you are and the more wiser you can sound like, it won't mean anything when it comes to actually having that experience. Because listening to someone giving you advice about something that they haven't even went through is the most ridiculous thing that you could possibly ever do and possibly ever listen to. Like, even if it's not a bad intention, I don't even think that, like, it's even worth staying in that room or that area of where they're at when they're talking about it. I would just let them yap and listen to what they say, and then go to someone with actual experience and ask them, and see how different it's being told, and just listen on how the directions are properly explained to you, if that makes any sense of what I'm saying. But that's basically what I wanted to talk about, is, like, make sure when you ask advice, you don't just ask someone that you think, knows something or maybe has one similar. You should ask them, like, hey, have you ever been through this? And, you'll probably learn something, from this guy. You could probably learn something on, like, hey, this is what I did in my relationship. Nothing happened for, like, this many months, and this is what I'm going to do when I go in the future, not do it again. And that's something that you could take up on his advice, because he did something like that. Yes, he's been into a relationship, and yes, he met someone, but that relationship with the shit. And then because he told us that first, and then he tells us advice, that advice is worth nothing to anyone or anything. It's not beneficial for anybody unless it's about his experience. And that is the one thing I kind of, like, want to make my point notice, is experience and stuff will lead you to have better advice, and your advice is more wiser and will make more sense, because you have that experience and you know what it feels like. So you have every right to say to someone, hey, this is my opinion, this is my experience, and this is my example on how I did this and how I talked to this girl, or how, whatever the case may be. But that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about. But yeah, I hope you guys have a great day, and just remember, stay smart.